I can compare fractions with common denominators. So to review, when comparing fractions, you are deciding which of the fractions is larger and which is smaller. Sometimes fractions may be equivalent or have the same value. These are the symbols that you would use when you're comparing fractions. This is the greater than symbol, less than symbol, and equal symbol if they're, equivalent. What a lot of students have trouble with is remembering the difference between the greater than and less than symbol. And one way you can think of it is notice how there's about 3 points on each of the symbols, right? So you got a point here, and a point here, right? And on one side you have 2 dots, and the other side you have only 1. This side has more than this side. So what you can think of is the side that has more is going to be with the bigger number. The side that has less dots is going to be with the smaller number. Or in other words, 2 is greater than 1. The side with 2 dots should be pointing to the larger number. The side with 1 dot should point at the smaller number. In this situation, we see that 1 dot is on the left side and 2 is on the right side. So this is saying that 1 is less than 2. All right, I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's compare the fraction 3/4 to 1/4. What are we gonna do? When the denominator is the same, we call them common denominators. Okay, you see how both denominators are 4, so these are common denominators, which makes it very easy for us to compare these fractions. So one way we can compare 3/4 to 1/4 is by using a number line. And remember, 4 tells me how many parts the denominator tells me how many parts break up the whole thing. So from 0 to 1, there should be 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go ahead and mark where 3/4 and 1/4 would be. This is 1/4 and then 2/4, 3/4. We can see that 3/4 is much closer to 1 than 1/4, or 3/4 is further along. If we were to shade it in from 0 to 3/4, you can see that 3/4 is longer than 1/4. 3/4 is definitely greater than 1/4. Now, when we're using the symbols, we want to make sure that the 2 dots are pointing towards 3/4 because this is the larger fraction. And then the 1 dot is pointing over here because it's a smaller fraction. And so we can see that 3/4 is greater than 1/4. That's the symbol we would use. Let's compare some more fractions. 4/6 compared to 5/6. We got common denominators. We could use the number line, but another way we could do it is by drawing a rectangle and shading in parts to represent 4/6. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, the thing about this is that we got to make sure that the rectangle for 5/6 got to be the same length. So starting here and ending here, and boom, I got that. And so we got 5 of them shaded in this time, and we can clearly see that 5/6 is greater than 4/6. Now, if we're writing it this way, we want to make sure that the smaller fraction, which is this side, only has 1 dot, and then the larger fraction has 2 dots. And so now we just draw our shape. Boom! So that's 4/6 is less than 5/6. 5/3 and 3/3. Ooh, now these fractions are a little bit different. They're still common denominators, but you notice that this time the numerators are larger than what we're used to. Usually the numerator is smaller than the denominator, but that's okay. And I think that we should use a number line to compare these because in this situation, we're going to be going past 1 whole. I think we can go ahead and find 3/3, which is 1 whole, right? Here's 0, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, which is 1. But now this is why I wanted to use a number line because 5/3 is going to be going past the number 1. So here's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3. Here's 5/3 right here. And using the number line, I can clearly see that 5/3 is greater than 3/3. Matter of fact, 5/3 is almost 2. So how would I compare these? I'm going to 2 dots on the greater side, 1 dot on the left side, and then greater than symbol. 5/3 is greater than 3/3. Now, which fraction is less than 4/7? Hopefully you said 3/7. And here's how I can prove it. This is what 4/7 looks like right here. I have 4 shaded in out of the 7. And here's what all these other models would look like. And if I draw a line going straight down, you can see that this line comes past 3/7. So 3/7 is less than 4/7. The rest of these are greater.